Hey everyone, the Manly Stanley Standpie here with my Attack on Titan Chapter 90 impressions and reactions. So, Attack on Titan Chapter 90 was pretty different from what we've had over recent chapters. Unlike previous chapters, which have all been about revealing information that's been hidden and slightly hinted at all along, this chapter was about moving forward. So, we see a lot of really fast-paced movement between events, but let's just quickly go over them. So first and foremost, they make the decision to release information to the public about the truth of their history. Pixis stands up and says, we cannot keep it a secret or we're no better than the king who came before us. So they tell everybody through a press statement, and they generally just go over it quickly. There was general chaos. People had their own opinions on it, but aside from just saying some agreed, some thought it was conspiracy, and some were in between, they didn't really make a big deal out of it, surprisingly. You'd think the society that's been taking place in this story would have more of screen time, but it seems like the chapter was meant for other things. So moving forward, those things include a ceremony to honor the Survey Corps. Now, this is an interesting moment because a lot of things happen on a character side. One, Hitch appears, and we haven't really seen her in a long time, but she's, of course, the woman who was with Marlowe back when Annie was originally on her inside of the wall duties, working with the military, before she was revealed as the female Titan. So what's interesting about her appearance is that the subject of Marlowe comes back up. Now, Marlowe is referenced as a very courageous and positive influence on everyone else. He motivated them when they were really stuck against the wall. And Flock talks about him in his really admiring light, but points out that he probably regretted his decision to go at his last moments. And this makes Hitch react pretty strongly, but she hides it and scoffs at it her own way. With that said, Flock seems to just say, someone has to say the truth, don't they? When John asks, why would you do that? This leads Armin to asking, hey, is it true that you didn't want me to be saved, that you wanted Erwin? And he outright confesses. He points out that really it should have been that way. And Armin agrees. He doesn't think that he should have been the one to be spared. So, with that said, Eren jumps in and says to him, how do you know that? How do you know you're not the right one? You know, while Flock is trying to say that, you know, the world disagrees with their choice and that they all got caught up in emotions, Eren argues otherwise, and he says, you don't know anything about Armin, and you don't know what he can do. And Armin, you yourself don't know what you can do. You don't know what choice was the right choice. You'll have to find out. And this is a nice nod to the kind of advice that he received from Levi. Back when the Levi Corps was wiped out, right, when his unit was killed by the female Titan, Eren was spoken to about the importance of choices, right? Whether or not choices are right or wrong. There's no such thing as a right choice, you just make a choice. So, seeing Eren has really internalized this advice is kind of a big deal, because it says that he's really taken a lot from Levi. So, moving forward from there, they have the ceremony, and what happens here is Eren has a vision. When he kisses Historia's hand, it seems like that vision, it might be to the moment Grisha took over the power from the royal family, and it seems like a discussion about setting people free from this endless cycle of ignorance. So it looks as though he was pleading with the former king before he took the power for himself. Just an interesting note, but that may be something else entirely. So with that said, moving forward, Eren of course has his own issues, but the big thing for them is they have to see what's beyond those walls. It's all about freedom. Even though Eren's saying it, he's also visualizing horrible things from his memories. So with that said, they skip forward, again, very fast-paced. Now they're going on an operation beyond the walls. Wall Maria has been cleared up of almost every single Titan, if not all of them, and it seems like the majority of the Titans on the island were inside of the walls. So this is a really big move for the people to now have their island back. Moving forward from there, they find the place where people were sent to paradise and turned into Titans, and they're able to, beyond that, see the ocean. This is a really big moment because this is the build-up that we've been waiting for ever since the beginning, right? I want to see the ocean. I want to have the freedom. I don't want to be a caged animal. So this is really significant for the characters, and it's like the beach episode where they're all seeing it for the first time, and they're running in the water, splashing, finding out how salty it is, and Armin's like, I was right all along, you know, he finds a seashell. So it's a really nice scene because they're all getting a taste of what the real world is, but at the same time, it's also not enough because, as Eren points out, we're not going to be free until we go across this ocean and defeat those who want us dead. So this seems to be the transition to what will be the next big arc. maybe even the final arc of Attack on Titan. Now that we've answered so many questions, all that remains is the resolution. So, moving forward, there's a lot to expect. Like I mentioned, this was all about momentum. This was about a forward-moving chapter. So, unlike previous chapters, which were all about answering questions, this is about what's going to come next. So with that said, I'm very curious to hear what you all thought of the episode, or the chapter rather, and what you thought of this episode of the show. So with that said, I'm the Manly Stanley Standpie. Thank you so much for joining me for this Attack on Titan Chapter 90 recap and impressions. I hope you'll stick around, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought, or share your opinions. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please feel free to subscribe. Also, you can check out some of my other content here on the channel, stuff like my comic dubs or some of my other things like my character karaoke. With that said, I'm the Manly Stanley Standpie, and this has been an Attack on Titan manga impression and reaction video.